We're good. So we're live. Welcome. Maria's here. I don't have your name across the bottom because I have our. Oh, wait. I just found the buttons. That's not right. That's right. Okay. I was just explaining to Maria that there was a software upgrade and all the buttons are in the wrong place, but the buttons are here. So actually, I'm going to go to the space now. We'll bring it in. Happy birthday, belated birthday to Maria.
Thank you so much.
This is the birthday episode.
Exactly.
Episode. And I'm going to pop everyone's name in for when Lex comes in, but this is going to be a good one. Strange Clan really is the big NFT collection of Cosmos that people forget about.
Absolutely. I mean, I cannot wait to hear more about them.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm going to just share this and we'll get started. Yeah, if anyone's listening, if you could share the space, that would definitely help. And Maria, if you don't mind, if you're able to monitor the chat while we're in the space.
Yes, I'm gonna do so.
Cool. All right. And that's it. And I know the beginning of the streams are a little boring, but that's just how they have to be. I'm going to bring this in now, and then it'll be ugly for a second, and then we'll get started. And yeah, we'll do our little intro that we normally do. And that's not what I want. That's what I want. There we go. Hey, everybody. I'm just going to bring up our speakers and we'll get started. Hope everyone's doing well. I know Twitter Spaces has been really buggy, but don't forget we're live on YouTube. So if Twitter Spaces gives us any trouble, we'll just head over to YouTube a little bit sooner. But even if Twitter cooperates, we'll have Lex come on the YouTube after the space, which shouldn't be too long because we've only got one guest. And he's going to give us some previews of Passage footage, which I've seen some of. And I think anyone who's interested in anything, Metaverse, Passage, Strange Clan, you'll definitely want to see this. The chat is live. And I'm just trying to get Maria up here as a speaker. And I think I got her. Lex, I'll bring you up in a sec. Maria, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing, guys? Thank you for being here. We're gonna be a bit, like a small audience since we got the majority of our listening. They are still on the Stargaze space, so we hope we can have more people join us. In the meantime, as always, please retweet, like this space so we can get more people join us as soon as possible.
Sounds good. And for people that don't know, Maria's birthday was this week, so I just wished her on the stream a happy belated birthday. July the 3rd was her birthday. If you were living in the United States, you would have had a nice 4-day weekend to celebrate. But maybe you made it a 4-day weekend anyway.
I know I've never experienced the 4th of July, but thank you so much again. I could enjoy and celebrate my birthday the weekend before and days after because I went to Barcelona for the NFT event. So it was pretty nice.
Oh, I would love to talk about that when we get to the stream, actually, with the chat, the Barcelona event. Maria is, she's getting more recognition, and I think we should talk about it on the stream. And before we get started here, I want to shout out the audience. We've had like kind of a hardcore audience join us week in, week out. These people then share that information with others who are not here for the live stream or for the space. We've been getting tipped. Tips are on for YouTube. So people that are on YouTube have been tipping us here and there, which we definitely appreciate and will use to make the stream even better. I'm going to bring up Lex here. And I don't know, Maria. I wanted to ask you, leading up to this, your thoughts on Strange Clan. I don't have any Strange Clan NFTs, but believe it or not, Strange Clan was the first Discord that I joined in Cosmos. I don't know if you're a holder.
Actually, no, but I've been seeing them like since the beginning when I launched on Stargaze. I feel like it's pretty cool. I have like different questions for Alex as well related to that, to the lore behind, because I've seen that they have been doing like different events, like the X airdrops. So it's pretty cool. I don't have any, sadly,
For
yet,
shame.
but
We're going to have to change that. And you're going to have
yeah.
to go to the Passage marketplace to get Strange Clan NFTs. Unfortunately, they're not yet listed on Stargaze. We would love to have some interoperability set up. And that's definitely, somewhere in our roadmap to get some interoperation between Stargaze and Passage marketplaces. But first, we've kind of got priorities around utility for the Passage NFTs and for the Strange Clan NFTs. But dude, the Strange Clan backstory is incredible because we launched before Stargaze existed,
Right.
and like right at the birth of Juno, right? So like Juno just came into existence, so it's October of 2021. So not yet 2 years. And Juno had just come into existence when we were launching the Strange Clan collection, but we'd already been planning for a world where there is zero Cosmos NFT marketplace. But we were like dead set on launching the collection priced in Atom. So that was basically the reason to build a Passage marketplace, which has always been a little bit of an ugly duckling. But also, for what it is, has done really, really well.
I think the Passage marketplace is like perfectly functional, and there's something to be said about that, like that minimalistic. You go in, you click explore, and then boom, you've got the collections that are listed.
Well, I love that, and I would urge you not to talk to anyone in the Discord about the marketplace, so that you maintain that beautiful vision of the marketplace. It has its rough spots, but it does work, right? And that is the thing, right? So okay, we've sold presently, so we have roughly 8 million in total NFT sales, but 5 million in aftermarket sales on the marketplace, with just 3 collections: the 2 Strange Clan collections and the Huawei Metaverse NFTs.
That's substantial volume. Like, you guys are probably the #1 project in Cosmos, and I was just saying to Maria before we went to the space, you guys are kind of forgotten because you do have that really long-term roadmap, and the NFT space is full of people that are not long-term thinking for the most part because there's so much happening day to day.
Yeah, and some of that's on us. I mean, part of it has been our roadmap has been pushed more long term. We had always said, hey, we're looking for a 3-year minimum vision for the Strange Clan game, and we always had a long-term mindset. We've just been also way overly ambitious in terms of what we thought we'd accomplish in between, right? And so there's been a lot of stuff that we've been able to do that we didn't anticipate. Partnerships with different creators who are launching on Passage. Like, there are some cool things that have entered the mix. We've got a big partnership with a retail gaming brand that hopefully we'll be able to announce this summer. There's a lot of big things that we've been cooking that we weren't anticipating, but at the same time, we're also just ambitious, right? And the goals are still the same, but we've definitely extended the timeline. But I'd rather that than to kind of fall short of the picture that we painted. So there's a lot of pros and cons to the way we've gone about things. We've learned a lot of lessons, but the most important thing for me is that, we're still here hustling, and we've made a lot of progress on a lot of different fronts. So yeah, still ready to rock and roll and kind of lead the revolution on this wild frontier in the Cosmos space.
Oh no, it sounds good. And I like that you guys are very community facing. You don't have to try that hard to get in touch with somebody from your team. You were the first, or yours was the first Discord that I joined when I was trying to
I love that.
onboard myself into Cosmos. And I was like, wow, this is like, at that time, Metaverse was still like a big buzzword. And I still didn't wrap my head around like what Metaverse was. I was thinking like, I understood that, Decentraland existed, and I did play around in Decentraland once. and sand tokens and mana tokens were big on Ethereum. But I wasn't sure, like, does this mean we're going to live in a virtual world? During the COVID lockdowns, it seemed like that was the perfect narrative to have if you were a quote unquote metaverse project, because people were basically bored out of their minds. The other thing was metaverse just a new type of immersive video game environment? That's cool, right? I'm not a gamer, but I could definitely see that being like the next in line for video game evolution. Or was metaverse just something that would be enhancing our everyday lives, or was just hyped up kind of like marketing for like 3D, like a new 3 or 4D type internet? So was wondering if you had an easy way to think of metaverse and whether or not even Strange Clan or Passage fits into your own definition.
Yeah, totally. I mean, here's the thing. The problem with the word metaverse is it's way too broad. Some people have really weird ideas of what it is. They think the metaverse is like a game, or that it looks like a game. And I think there's a lot of things, like I would say Twitter is more part of the metaverse than Sandbox is. And that's just because there are more people here, right? It's more connected to other platforms, right? People share tweets and news articles, right? So there's more interconnectivity between Twitter and other parts of the internet, the metaverse, right?
That's an interesting take, because I think of Twitter as like two-dimensional, kind of, even though it's really not. Twitter is a fantastic platform. Just look at what we're doing right now.
Well, and so much of this can exist in 2 dimensions or 3 dimensions. It doesn't really matter. Part of it is just like, where are people connecting, right? So the word meta means above, right? And so it's the layer that's above all the universes, right? So the metaverse isn't the problem with thinking the metaverse is like Sandbox, where it's like a game, especially something that's kind of a closed ecosystem, that's not interoperable, that's not made to be interoperable, is that the less it interacts with other things, the less it can have that meta layer, right, that connects it to all the other pieces of the metaverse. Because, right, the metaverse is the larger picture. It's not any individual thing. So for us, the way we've wanted to fulfill that with Passage is obviously pushing for more and more interoperability. One of the things we've realized, though, in our journey is we really have to simplify, right? Because metaverse is the goal, and it's interconnectivity. And I believe it's not just virtual, right? It is a layer of connection that connects both the virtual and the physical, right? That's why, so I'll link the Passage, I'll try and find the Passage promo video, but you'll see a big part of that video really relies on the physical component of like at the end of the video, there's a, you see how you're bringing your Passage experience into a physical event, right? And that's because we believe that's a really important part of, the quote unquote metaverse, right? Our big part of our experiences and what needs to be connected is physical experiences in addition to virtual experiences. So, but the metaverse is complicated. It can be too big for people to kind of like, describe. So people get confused about it. That's one issue. But then on the other side of things, what we've tried to do is simplify, right? And right now, if I had to describe what is Passage, there is a metaverse component that we're building toward, but the biggest component of what we're building right now is primarily tools for creators, right?
Oh, nice.
Because if you think about the people who will contribute the most to a virtual space, it's the people who are already doing that in other parts of the current metaverse, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, right? It's the creators. So for us, building creator tools and making sure creators can leverage Passage in a really cool way to add extra value to their audience and have a unique way of monetizing their interaction and their content, that's going to be the key to growing quickly and simplifying, right? Because people need to be able to understand this really, really fast.
And, we've got some creators in here. We've got a few that have either collections themselves or they're involved in collections. And Maria is a content creator plus an artist and kind of manager of an NFT community. And that's really good. That's really good to hear. I don't know. Usually what happens is I'm like the wide-eyed consumer of NFTs and all things Web3. And then Maria comes in as a creator and like bludgeons the guest with these really difficult questions. So I'll let her go first. And then
Please.
and then I'll come in with like the
I feel left
like
out. I want a good bludgeoning.
all my questions are like, here's my money, take it. I just have some questions. So I'll let her go first.
Good. Remind me, never let you introduce myself ever again.
The bar is high. The bar is high.
No, but actually, I watched your trailer. It was really nice, and I was wondering, as a creator, because one of the part of the trailer, you could see the girl like building their own space.
Yes.
So is that gonna be a possibility? Because I can clearly see myself, I don't know, creating any Women from Cosmos event there. How that is gonna be, and how creators can join them. Like, we need to hold a Strange Clan NFT, or it's gonna be open for everyone?
No, it's open for every creator. I mean, there is a Strange Clan world on Passage, right? Where we'll be doing community events, and in the future we'll have deeper integration with games like Strange Clan, where imagine you go into Passage, you see somebody is streaming and they're playing Strange Clan in their stream, and you click on the stream and you're watching them play, and you see a button that says enter the stream, and you click on it, and now you're not just watching them play Strange Clan, you're walking around behind them as they play Strange Clan, right? And you're seeing it from within the experience. That's the streaming experience we're pushing toward for gaming, and Strange Clan is going to be one of our flagship examples in the gaming space, obviously. But we do have some other retail gaming partners that we're working with. So gaming is a cool component of this. But again, the focus is primarily creators, right? And that could be streamers, right? That is one form of creator. But to use Passage, basically, it's going to essentially be, you get to choose how you want to set it up as a creator. The idea is that you can set up these spaces and monetize it however you want, right? You can basically have entry limited to only people who hold your NFT collection. You can have people pay in tokens to be able to enter experiences. We'll have different things on our side where people can buy different NFTs from the marketplace to have customizations for their avatars, different kinds of avatars to use. Probably everyone has seen the cute little, and when we jump into YouTube, you'll see the cute little Passage Puck video avatar where you can see your video in the 3D space. But we're also working on a whole set of 3D character avatars. You'll be able to join worlds as your Chihuahua character. You'll be able to join as a Strange Clan character.
I've got one of those.
And you could, we have the world building tools right now. We did a demo of this for our alpha participants, where they got to watch me and Abby put together like a living room scene, right? Out of nothing, essentially. And we're adding more and more stuff to the world building tools every day. And it will be live and open with the beta. But we're going to have more, we're going to be able to bring the alpha testers in soon. We've got 2 stages. First, we're bringing people into the dashboard, which is kind of the social side of the experience. And then next, we'll bring them into the world building tools. But essentially, those are all live and working right now. Once it's public, yeah, you can do exactly what you see in that video. And people got to watch me do this in our Discord privately. Drag and drop assets into an Unreal Engine world from the browser, no downloads, no apps, but you're working in Unreal Engine with a very simplified interface where you can just drag and drop stuff in, just like you're seeing in the promo video. And people got to see that live. So yeah, that's going to be a really cool experience. And then you can choose, is this for my members? Is this for my community? Is it a subscription thing? Is it a ticketed event? You can kind of decide how you want to monetize that.
That's so cool, I have to say. And now that you mentioned like the social part, also at the end of the video, and guys, we're talking about the trailer, please go and watch it because it's pretty cool. You can see as well that you will have like your own profile with different tabs, like for example, photographer or artist or whatever. So I guess that it's gonna be like a social part or kind of platform as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a whole series that's dropping to kind of educate people on what it looks like to leverage kind of the social features of Passage. So being able to stream to YouTube from your passage, being able to connect to other, social layers. And the whole idea is we want a really simple interface that resembles what people use on Twitter every day, right? That allows people to connect in between the different worlds, right? The problem with something like Sandbox or oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name of the other, Decentraland, is that there are these spaces that are open all the time that are barren, right? They're totally empty. And with Passage, the idea is it's very, especially in the beginning, it'll be very event-based. So people can open their worlds. Not every world will be open all the time, right? People can open them when they want to, and people can find out what's happening and what's open and be directed to stuff that's happening now from inside the dashboard, the social layer, right? Because that allows people to always have a good time when they go into Passage. The last thing you want is for them to go into Passage and not know what to do. They're walking around this empty space and they're like, there's nobody here. I guess this is a boring experience, right? So the social layer allows people to showcase what's happening now, right? Hey, this is happening now. I just jumped in here. So that you're always jumping into something with your friends, or jumping into an event that's happening, or jumping into something that is timely, right? Rather than just kind of like wandering around.
I've heard Decentraland referred to as wasteland, and it kind of is a wasteland. Like you walk around and maybe you bump into somebody, but it's just not, and you need like a pretty powerful computer to get a lot out of that. I was in there once. I had a really bad computer. My mouse wasn't lining up with what I wanted to click on. It was just, I don't even know if it's worth going back for me. But there is like gambling, and like I guess there's concerts. I don't really know who's going to go in there and say, look, I bought my $500 NFT sneakers that my character can wear in Decentraland, and then you like walk around lonely for hours. I don't know. It's not that appealing aside from the initial like first couple minutes.
Yeah, and that's why Fortnite is a much better quote unquote metaverse, right? Because people are already in, instead of building this place and being like, hey, people can go here, right? There's nobody here, but we'll take an empty building and we'll put a bunch of branded stuff in there and be like, hey, everybody come here. I know you're doing something else, right? I know there's other stuff you care about, but come here to do what you enjoy, right? It's like, well, what are you offering that's new? Are the graphics better? No. Is there something there that's not somewhere else? No. Then why am I going to go there over anywhere else? Whereas Fortnite, they took a place where people already hang out in Fortnite. They have the Fortnite app downloaded on their phone, on their Switch, on their computer. And they are there all the time. Millions of people, right? And they said, hey, we already have millions of people here. Let's have a concert. Like, that's how you do it, right? Instead of saying, like, nobody's here, let's make something happen. It's like, no, there's already bunches of people here. What else can we be doing here, right? And the idea with Passage is that we're making it a whole lot easier for people to get in. Right, it's a whole lot easier. We've got features that they don't have in Decentraland. The graphics are straight out of Unreal. We have interoperability. It's meant to be connected, so it's not just one experience. So the idea is that we're trying to bring the best of the different types of social experience. The creator experience on social platforms like YouTube and Twitter, and the 3D experience that you'd get from a AAA game. Right, we want to bring those things together. The goal is to make something fundamentally new. Not to just build kind of like a default space that we're trying to, wrestle people into.
And would you say that, Passage is going to be made up of multiple worlds? Is it going to be similar to the way when I log into Twitter, there are multiple Twitter spaces happening at the same time, and then then Strange Clan would just be one of those worlds? Is that close?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk about the Strange Clan collections? And just
sure, absolutely.
All right, because it's been a while, right? You guys are almost 2 years old, or maybe I'm sure the work has been more than 2 years.
In October, yeah.
Yeah. So I noticed on the marketplace there are 3 collections for Strange Clan, right? It's the Durang, the Kira. Is that just the first 5,000 and the second 5,000 NFTs?
Basically, yeah. And they kind of fulfill different elements in the story, but it's Darren Fang and Kira are the 2 towns, right? And those are the two halves of the 10K collection that is Strange Clan.
Okay, and then there's the eggs. Eggs, for some reason, NFT eggs, they have the most intrigue around them, no matter what blockchain. If there's like eggs,
so much potential, right?
I think eggs minting is the only thing that's equal to like Metaverse land from a year and a half ago, right? Like it's so. Let's talk about the eggs. I don't know anything about the eggs, and I feel like I need to know.
Yeah, totally. So basically, the eggs are something that's been in the works for a while, and part of it is that it was kind of contingent in some of the stuff we were doing with the marketplace, because what we had was a staking mechanism, and we have a smart contracts ready for the marketplace, but we're still working on the front end. But now we're moving the marketplace from Juno over to Passage chain. That's happening literally right now. Actually, it may be done, and we're just waiting for the token or the chain relaunch to have that stuff live, as well as some front-end integrations. So we get those front-end integrations, then we can move on to some of the other front-end developments around NFT staking and things like that. But the idea there was people could stake their eggs along with a character to be able to hatch companion. And there's like mounts that they could end up hatching, or like just companions. And the mounts would have all of them would have some utility, but the mounts obviously are the most interesting in terms of utility in the game. And there's different rarities to them, and all of it is based off of how long you stake, right? And it's not just a fixed time period, it's how many people are still staking, right? So basically the last person staking has the best chance of getting the most rare things, right? But some of the other things that we've talked about is that, when we go into Passage, you'll see these little puck characters, and you'll be able to swap out your strange, once we have what we call the PALS system, which is a personalized avatar and likeness system. And that includes things like the video puck, right? But it also includes 3D avatars. Now, the 3D avatars aren't implemented yet into Passage Core, but that's one of the things that we're working on. And once that's ready, you'll be able to use your Strange Clan characters and your Huawa characters and other 3D collections as your character in Passage, and go to the hub, go to Huawa, go to other social experiences in Passage. You'll be able to attend concerts as your Strange Clan character, right? Or hip hop community events with Royce to 5'9". And so the idea there is that once we have that set up, we also want to do really fun things like when you hatch your egg, you could have characters that your companion could not just follow you throughout the Strange Clan world, but also follow you throughout other worlds, right? That we can build cross-world utility for a lot of these different cosmetics, a lot of the different utility NFTs. And that's the really cool thing about Passage is, other places where people buy and sell NFTs, there's no inherent functionality, right? But with Passage, when you sell an NFT collection on Passage, immediately there's a potential use case, right? You could, and this isn't obviously this is for when we're in open beta, right? Once anyone can hop in, then you will have a world where you could boot up a collection, right, with just a bunch of cool images, right, and immediately use them as tickets to enter some type of exclusive virtual world, right?
Okay.
And so there's built-in utility into the platform, and that's a really important part of kind of like why we've structured Passage this way, and part of the long-term vision for things like the eggs and different elements of the collections that we've launched is we really want to see the most possible utility. So,
and Metawawa is the only non-Strange Clan collection that's available in the marketplace, right?
Yep. And we've had other people reach out about launching collections on the Passage marketplace, and there will be opportunities for that. We'll have more stuff launching on the marketplace. It's just that we're particular, right? We want stuff with functionality, and also part of the difficulty is the bar's pretty high for being able to, for instance, with the Huawa collection, those will grant you access to a whole Chihuahua metaverse, right? And we're in active testing for that right now, and it's a fun experience. I mean, you jump in, you can customize your little Chihuahua character, and there's a bunch of different mini games you can play. It's a cool experience. And we're basically wrapping up the multiplayer network for that now. And once that's done, then that's going to be one of the worlds that's launching with Passage for the potentially for, I think we've specifically said for the beta period. So the whole idea with that is that yeah, we want to see utility. We want things that are building real stuff, and especially during the last 6 months to a year-ish, teams are quieter right now. It's really been a building phase, and so there aren't as many people launching kind of high utility collections. But yeah, those are the collections that are on the Passage marketplace right now.
That's pretty cool. I actually wanted to ask you, like, if you guys are now, like, obviously, I guess, more focused to continue building a Passage, but going back on what I said about your lore around Strange Clan, would you mind to maybe educate myself on the different races and what is the story behind Strange Clan? I remember you guys were doing this thing of you have to pick if forest, beach. Was like ages ago. So if you can, share more information for me, maybe, or more people in the audience, because I'm not that familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we've done a lot of different. A big part of the focus early on was, community engagement and community initiatives. So being able to do different quests. We did a lot of just kind of like fun narrative experiences with the community. In the last 6 months or so, there's been a really big focus on. Oh shoot, man! The amount of stuff there is to do to launch the game is big. If you look at the timeline on Twitter, so we have development updates for Passage and Strange Clan on the Passage channel, or on the Passage Twitter. But we also have some videos. If you scroll back through, we've been a little bit quieter publicly about some of the stuff happening with Strange Clan. There's some really cool opportunities there. And we have some really unique partners in the game development space, where we've been talking with some large studios about helping to produce Strange Clan. Wow. So to get us kind of a larger audience, because we've been investing a lot in IP, right? In the story and the characters. We've built a whole world. If you look at some of the videos, you can see like it's all built out with AAA graphics. We've got a AAA team that's worked on some huge titles. Who's partnered with us on this, and they're the ones kind of connecting us with studios who are interested. We've already got kind of a host of studios or producers who are really interested in partnering on Strange Clan. So there's a lot of things that we're kind of figuring out, especially as we lay down some of the infrastructure for Passage, right? Because obviously Strange Clan is going to be built on and around Passage for maximum interoperability and allowing people to integrate their Strange Clan assets with other Passage worlds and things like that. So yeah, so it's been a unique phase, and it's tough because it's been slower in some ways because there's some big things that we're trying to do. From our time at GDC, or we're going to be traveling this summer to several events as well to meet up with some of the potential partners. It's just been, there's a lot going on. I will share, this is kind of the last, one of the most recent large development updates that we shared, and this is from end of March. So it's come a long way from, our cute little chunky characters that are on the marketplace. But yeah, there are lots of different, this video is kind of helpful to see where we're looking for kind of our initial demo. And right now we do have a large demo slated to be complete, I think September, because we're presenting it to some of our partners then. And that's something that obviously we'll get the community involved in. And it is tentative, but at the same time, that's our deadline internally. Yeah, so it's really unique, obviously in the Cosmos space. Honestly, the only other thing that I've seen that really seems to be on the quality of Strange Clan when it comes to games is Bushi, Play Bushi. And obviously they very intelligently chose a a smaller structure for their game, right? With the whole kind of like fighting FPS style, there's not as much content that they have to create, which is frankly a really smart decision. So it's unique. I really like kind of the way that Strange Conn's positioned in the Cosmos ecosystem, as well as just a larger Web3 gaming ecosystem. But there's still a lot to do, so we're hustling.
Yeah, and I know you guys have a lot of stuff, and then on top of that, you're launching your own chain, right? Or
yeah,
do you have any regrets launching your own chain? Because it's to the average person who was following the project, it seemed like that was just kind of sprung upon the community, and then Juno, I don't say Juno was abandoned because you have your marketplace there, but I know the original plan was to always launch on Juno. Any regrets about deciding to launch your own chain, or do you think that's the best way to go to have ultimate control over, protocol?
Yeah, I mean, I would say no. Frankly, yeah, they're just in order to have and we've got to answer the question, why is there a token, right? And it is tough because the token is always part of a long-term objective, right? To accomplish the short-term functionality, right, of having these virtual worlds that are able to be used by creators in a really flexible way to bring them closer to their audience, artists, different people can use this to have an immersive interaction, teams, right? None of that really needs a blockchain, right? For the front end functionality, for the surface level opportunity. But we really value this interoperability and this decentralization. We've always had in mind as we've been setting up this structure, this idea that there would be blockchain behind it, there would be decentralization to it. And that especially comes into play when it comes to people's relationships. Like, this is something that a lot of people, it's not at the forefront of a lot of what we're doing, but it's actually one of the more important elements, which is the idea of a decentralized social layer, right? Where you could take your relationships across different platforms, right? Where imagine if all your Twitter followers could seamlessly be integrated with Instagram or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And imagine if both those platforms canceled you, but you could still go to a new platform and bring your followers there, right? That's kind of the vision that we've been pursuing with the decentralization elements. So we always knew it had to be decentralized in some way. And that's why we started with Juno, with the marketplace, that we really believed that these decentralized assets were important. Well, we've had different performance issues with Juno. There's various difficulties launching on a permissionless chain, especially in an ecosystem that's still growing, right? Cosmos is, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, right? I don't want to be in Ethereum. I don't want to be in Solana, Polygon, whatever. Like, not really interested in, we're right now actually integrating, we're talking with teams like Axelar to be able to integrate EVMs and things like that. So like, we will be supporting those things as well. But in terms of our blockchain, right, and the kind of the core of Passage, I am very much in love with the Cosmos SDK infrastructure, right? So, okay, so what are your options, right? You use a permissionless chain or a permissionless system, right? So we could have built our NFTs on Stargaze after the fact, right? Let's say we can make a choice now. We still don't get all the functionality that we need for the Passage platform. So the interoperability of 3D assets, for instance, right? So you want to have 3D NFTs where the assets are interoperable across different Passage worlds, right? These are some of the things that there just isn't necessarily a template for right now, and that's the whole purpose for app-specific blockchains in Cosmos, is that you can build the infrastructure you need for your application. So it really did feel important to create a chain. Now, in terms of the timing of it, could we have timed it better? Yes and no. I mean, when we created our chain, there was kind of peak opportunity at that time. We had so many people who were eager to support Passage, and it seemed kind of like a natural next step. Of all the things that I could change, that probably wouldn't have been one of them. I think that has actually worked out really well. We're going to be doing some announcements soon about how things have gone with the token thus far. We have some really impressive milestones that have created just an immense support for the project. we have some incredible participants in the Passage token who are primarily Cosmos infrastructure providers, validators, teams, projects who have come in to participate in the private sale for the Passage token, and we'll be doing the public sale soon. I really do think it is a unique opportunity. The infrastructure is unique, and I'm actually stoked. I think a lot of communities stoked to have the marketplace on the Passage chain because it just connects more of the things that we're doing. It'll remove some of the issues that we've dealt with dealing with permissionless infrastructure and being able to have our own proprietary infrastructure. So that's probably like it is a yes and no thing, right? There are definitely difficulties to maintaining a blockchain and just adding that onto all the other elements of infrastructure that we're building. But it's probably not one of the things that would have changed. It would change a lot of other things first, mostly just the sheer scale of stuff that we've taken on.
Now, you're the second project that I talked to that's launching their own blockchain, and for them it's a game, and for them they wanted specific control over the validator set, the protocol, and all that. Just curious. Actually, my question is going to be for Maria.
Joe, you're ragging.
Rugging.
Yeah, you're starting to become a robot now.
I'm back. Is it better?
Yeah.
No. Well,
I mean, it's still a little rough, but I can hear you.
Oh, well, my question's for Maria. What's the difference between an NFT and then, let's say, a 3D NFT that is compatible with Passage?
what is the difference between an NFT and a 3D NFT that can be used on Passage?
Yes.
Is your question?
Yeah.
Got it. To be honest, I think like for me at least the difference will be like the extra utility that you are giving to that NFT that can be used as well as an avatar on Passage. But obviously I would love to hear from Lex, like if you can, I mean, like, okay, you have your 3D NFT and you can use it on Passage, but what else you can do with it?
I meant
you can play the game.
I meant from the artist standpoint, like how different is the process to create?
Well, to be honest, I guess like the difference there is more related to devs, to being able to integrate that art into Passage, because yes, I can do a 3D NFT, but I have no clue how to integrate it there.
Wow.
So from an artist perspective, I think it's the same.
Got it. That
I guess.
Interesting. Maybe Lex can chime in too.
Yeah, and part of it is the utility. So part of it has to do with what kind of data is being stored, right? And also part of it just has to do with what kind of artists are you enabling, right? So there's two really cool things that we're going to be able to account for in our platform. There's a whole host of artists who build 3D assets, right? Either stock assets or game assets or film assets. And we're giving those people a place where they can monetize their work and their art in a totally new way. Because normally they can only sell their assets to other 3D artists who know how to use it in 3D pipelines, right? Whether it's a game pipeline or a VFX pipeline. But we're making it so that anyone can use their assets in a drag and drop way, right? So they're not able to sell 3D assets to anybody, right? And it opens up the opportunities for who can leverage that, and I think creates kind of a really unique market that didn't exist before. So there's that. But then there's also, I mean, that's a big part of it. It does create different kinds of utility as well, right? And how you can leverage these assets across different 3D worlds. But yeah, get kind of technical there.
I was just curious from the, I'm a collector. I'm not an NFT creator. Sometimes you don't notice the differences between the assets. You're just kind of buying what you like, or you're buying what you're excited about. So interested to see, well, again, like if Maria is going to end up creating a 3D asset.
Oh yeah. Right. And being able to create something that is specifically 3D is going to depend on, the artist, right? And what kind of work they're creating. At the outset, Passage will not make it any easier to make those things. just to use them, right? Because once somebody makes it, then you can use it anywhere, drag and drop in Passage to build your own experience, right? So, for instance, if Maria is setting up an art gallery, right? If we have lots of 3D artists contributing to the marketplace with their unique 3D assets, then they're going to be able to, or she'll be able to pull those assets in to create different types of things for her gallery, right? It might be different stands for the art, it might be different animations. And at some point, it could actually be drag and drop functionality, right? She could drag into her event, raffles that happen sporadically throughout the event based off of, what characters you're using, or who knows, right? Like, the idea is that we can leverage a lot of the Unreal Engine infrastructure and to create different types of blueprints or templates for people to not just drag, visual assets into their world, but also to be able to drag in utility and different features.
Got it. It'll be interesting to see in practice how it looks, right? Because a lot of times the user like me takes for granted all of the nuances that go into compatibility, or just the amount of, like, the sheer work that's involved in producing something like that. But I don't know. I think,
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Are we ready to go preview Passage on YouTube? I could bring Lex into YouTube, and anyone that's here in the space, I'm going to close the space out. But you guys are welcome to join the YouTube stream. I'll share the link on this Twitter. It's streaming, but on the Cosmos DeFi Twitter, I'll share the link. You could jump into the chat, and I want to check out Passage again with the audience, because we already have a bunch of people in the chat kind of waiting to see what Passage is going to look like.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready for it.
Awesome. So like I said, I'll close this out. You guys are welcome to join. You'll have a minute or two to get over there. And Lex, I'll shoot you the link once I close this out into the Telegram group.
Sweet. And I'll ping that to the Discord and whatnot too.
Awesome. And everybody who's here, thanks for joining. I know it's summertime. There's lots of distractions, but I see a lot of the familiar faces here that join us every week. So appreciate you 100%. All right.
I can hear you like a human being.
Oh, it was bad the whole time?
Not the whole time. At the end, you were sounding like a robot. I was like, I don't get it.
Got it. So I don't know. I feel like Strange Clan gets still overlooked a little bit because they don't have hype and they don't have news every week, every day. So they get a little bit overlooked. But it sounds like he said the volume was 8 million in sales, and then 5 million in secondary market sales. And that's on Juno. And I know it's not nice, but Juno community really doesn't support NFTs.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. There's not that small collector flipper mentality on Juno. Strange Clan brought people to NFTs on Juno, it sounds like. So I definitely want to ask. And that 8 million, is that in US dollars? Is that in Juno? Like, what do you know what that was in?
I mean, I got it like dollars.
Yeah, I think it's in dollars, because I remember some of those NFTs were going for like $600-700.
Yeah, they were expensive. I remember when they were launching.
All right, so I'm gonna bring him in. Well, I have to send him the link, and then he'll pop in. We'll be able to share the video for Passage. I think I've seen this one before, but maybe he has something new. It's amazing because there's going to be a time in the near future where Maria and I will be able to do like a metaverse-based Twitter space that will stream to YouTube automatically, and we don't have to do all these things we're doing behind the scenes to make this happen, which is a big hassle.
Yeah.
At least for me, it's a big hassle. Maybe I'm not doing it the easiest way. Look, someone's saying they were selling for $1,200. So yeah, I'm guessing that was in millions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they were, and they are 10K. Like, just do math. There has to be bucks, like dollars. But it's really impressive, everything that they've been building. The only thing that I'm missing is like, showing it more, maybe in Twitter. Maybe I'm missing the Discord part. I'm gonna join now, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good Discord. They have a really dedicated community manager. They do interactive stuff. They do their spaces. They do Discord spaces. I don't know what it's called in Discord. Just Discord
Discord.
live chat.
Yeah.
All right, so Lex is here. We'll bring him in. No PFP.
So my video is currently going in Passage, so you'll see it there.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I think there should be a way for you, Lex, to share your screen, and then I'll bring it in. Just make sure you click in the audio. You had to click an extra button. Did you do that?
I did it.
Cool. Okay. The first time we did one of these stream Twitter spaces, I did not do that, and the first like 7 minutes had no audio, so people in the chat were not happy. So there we go.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's bring in this. We're gonna be on the side. Get rid of this. Get rid of my graphic here. And here it is.
So I'm hanging out in Passage with Mike, our dev, who has been patiently waiting for us to jump in. Are we live now?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, sick. Okay, cool.
I don't know if you realize this, but we stream the Twitter spaces the whole time through here. And then we just
legit.
We bring you in. And I was just saying before you came in, hopefully Passage has a better way to do this, because like it's a lot of moving parts of things that are not supposed to go together. So I'm using using an emulator for Twitter. It never works the right way. And then I can't have my screen the way I want it, because you can't on Restream, you can't do sound through a window. It's just so we're building the plane as we fly it.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally
well,
get
of course you do. You're building something. So.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, I don't know. Set the stage first here for people. There are a bunch of people in the chat, and we could.
So now that I know we're live, I just pulled up the chat over here. I'm gonna thumbs up the stream. Everybody who's in here has to thumbs up the stream, right? That's one of the rules. And we got 17 people in. So I'm gonna start giving the tour. So basically, Mike, can you say something just to see if your audio is on the stream?
Is my audio coming through? Hello?
Howdy doody. Can everybody hear Mike? I want to
Yes.
see thumbs up in the chat if you can hear Mike. Yes, and Victor Jones asking about Stream Swap. We have been watching Stream Swap very closely. Yeah, so basically this is what Passage looks like, right? So you can see my video in the top left. Mike is over here. Mike, you can wave and say hi. And
Hello,
basically, yeah, as we move around, so Mike, if you just testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3.
So the audio actually moves around with you. So like there come a point where I won't be able to hear Mike because it'll be like, too far away from, him. And so the audio is spatialized, and we've got this big, beautiful, this is our Blockhouse space for one of our featured partners that's going to be leveraging the space. Is decentralized for music events. And essentially, this is just an event space that we built exclusively for Passage. Lots of cute little nooks and beautiful Unreal Engine graphics. So all the lighting here is courtesy of Unreal Engine. And there's lots of cute little places to go. But what's cool about this is I'm sharing a Chrome tab right now. This is not a gaming, there's no download that I had to make. There's no like application. You could be doing this on your phone just as easily as you could be doing this, on a gaming machine. I do have a pretty machine, but this is running in the browser, right? There's no hardware requirement because this is all being streamed, right? So the idea is that none of the compute power is happening on my machine. This is all happening somewhere else. So essentially, you could use any device for this, right? This is all super, super lightweight because of that. Tobe streams.
I mean, it looks like a real place.
Oh yeah.
Even with there's a tiny bit of lag, but obviously that's due to the way that we're streaming this. But
totally.
It's super realistic.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So it is always it's fun being able to get people in. We've been doing live demos for the alpha testers, which means that people have actually been able to get in and be in the space. We've got some of our mods in the chat. And and they can kind of actually Mr. Nowhere. I think he's been in here. Greg's been in here. Yeah, exactly. They're talking in chat, and it's a really good experience. There's definitely lots of like there's optimization that's being introduced all the time with Unreal Engine 5. Like the updates are just insane. So there's going to be more and more that we can do with the graphical quality, with the interaction and the different performance we can get out of this on different devices. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. And you too can build worlds just like this on Passage. Just drag and drop.
Hear that, Maria? We're going to get our custom
That's
studio.
so cool. Actually, I have a few questions. So
Please.
let's say I want to create my own little room there. Will I be able to use like pre-made things, like pre-made, like, I don't know, tables and things
yeah.
like that?
Exactly. That is the whole idea. Yeah, we're going to have a whole library of assets. The people, our closed alpha people, have already seen some of the customization abilities right now, even before we kind of have the expanded library, before we've launched the world builder. But in beta especially, we have a whole slate of, oh man, I'm excited to show you guys soon some of the really cool assets we're creating for the world builder. I'll tease right now. We have a bunch of exclusives that we'll be launching with the Passage token launch. So when we launch this is the fun thing we're going to do, right? We're going to play a fun game where you have to get Passage tokens the day of the launch, because that will be the only time you can get access to certain exclusive world building customizations. There's like, whole sets of assets we're going to be releasing, unique character customizations that you'll only be able to get the day of the token launch. And there's going to be a really cool it's some really cool releases that people will want to get their hands on, because then people who are in the alpha specifically could immediately go and use their unique customizations, and then as we roll out different features for the world builder, they'll be able to get access to kind of those exclusive assets for customizing worlds.
So there'll be a whole nother economy on your chain of these, I don't know, what do you want to call them, accessories to the world?
Yeah. They're digital assets, right? It's just 3D assets. It's a 3D asset marketplace, right?
Man, I might, if my YouTube career doesn't pan out, I might be like a furniture salesman in Passage or something like that.
100%. And here's the thing too, like, you don't have to be a 3D artist to do it. You can hire a 3D artist, right? Like if you have a really unique idea,
nice,
you can have this stuff built and you can just use your brand to sell it, right? It's like being using brand referrals, right? On like Amazon had their whole referral program, right? It's like you can get people to buy stuff, even if you have to pay to create it. There's a really unique opportunity there, but we're opening this up to a much wider audience because most people couldn't use 3D assets, 3D models, except for having this kind of drag and drop tool like in Passage.
That's so cool.
Will there
And
be
yes,
a beta?
you-
Will there be a beta of this available in a couple of months or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So basically right now, in terms of the closed alpha phase, so we have internal timelines right now. I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but we have a very aggressive internal timeline where World Builder should be ready within the next month. And that isn't to say that when the closed alpha is complete, we're not jumping right into the open beta, but people who participate in the closed alpha, people who participate in different, if you're interested, go jump on the website now and get on our wait list, passage.io. You can jump on the wait list if you want to be one of the first ones in the Passage beta. But basically, we'll be bringing people in progressively. And depending on, there's going to be different things that launch. So we have some different creator partners, and we have creators who are launching experiences in Passage that might be up even before the platform is public. We might have a public event happening in Passage, right? So there's a lot of different ways that we can be, pulling people into Passage over the next month, the next couple of months here.
That's so cool. I'm sorry, Joe, to cut it out, but I'm so happy because this afternoon I signed out for the, whitelist. So, guys, go and do the same.
What whitelist?
To be able to try the beta when they launch it.
How did you sign up for that?
You go to their website, you do
Just the
your
website.
homeworks, preparing the space,
That's true.
and just
All right.
yeah.
We'll do that. We'll catch up. Lex is going to pop back in with his video, I assume. But Shroot had a good idea. He said that NFT Nashville should use this.
Exactly.
And NFT Nashville, we want a virtual component. There he is. How's it going, Lex?
Good. I just fixed my camera.
Yeah, you're good. I was just saying that one of the co-planners of NFT Nashville said that we should use this for NFT Nashville because we want a concurrent virtual component to NFT Nashville for people that just can't go, or if projects want to have their own stuff. That's why I asked if there would be some kind of beta available in the next couple months. I know that one of the artists wants to use Decentraland, but there's no limit to what we can do as long as stuff is functional, even if it's minimally functional. It'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shoot, I would just say I can put you guys in touch with Ryan, our head of product.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, if nothing else, the thing is, the earlier we can be planning this stuff out, the more likely we can make different events happen inside Passage with different feature sets, right? So, even obviously we've been talking to CryptoCito and the Cosmoverse team for a while. And we're going to have, a Cosmos Metaverse, right? Like the whole goal is that like all these things would be connected, right? That you could go between these different events. And so for me, it's not a matter of if, just when, in terms of integrating the different events that we're doing both physically and virtually. And the physical component of what we're doing in Passage is huge for us. Again, go watch the Passage promo video on passage.io if you haven't seen it, because that whole scenario it paints out where you go from virtual to physical at the end, that's huge for us. We really want to be able to have integrations between real world events and virtual events.
No, that's cool, because even if like we could stream, like, or I shouldn't say stream, if we could use something like Passage for like an hour of it, it would be so cool for people that just can't participate, right? Our conference is going to be really small. It's under 100 people.
Right.
Lots of NFT collections want to get involved. They're contacting us constantly, but they're not going to fly from like Australia to Nashville for a one-day event.
Right.
But the nature of NFTs is social, and we want to include as many people as possible. So some are familiar with Decentraland. Great. You want to run a side-by-side event. That's awesome. And I think maybe we're gonna have to talk to you offline to see what we can do to showcase and also leverage whatever you have up until that point. Nothing has to be perfect. It's NFTs, right? We're innovating on the fly and creating utility on the fly. So no one's going to nitpick if it's not 100% ready. But if we could do a little showcase, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, totally. I'll connect you with Ryan and we'll see what we can do. There's a lot of ways in which we're like, even some of the tools that we're setting up for somebody like Decentralize. There's ways we can do smaller events, smaller experiences to be able to get people globally connected to something that's happening physically. Yeah, that's the kind of thing we love being able to brainstorm, especially in the Cosmos community.
See, at Tank, if you're here, you're in the chat. I know he's just nodding his head like, oh yes, we've got this now. Before you popped in, we were talking, you mentioned the volume for Strange Clan NFTs. I know we're talking about passes, but now Strange Clan, when you gave us those numbers for volume, that was in US dollars.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, so you guys are like 10.
We're number two. So Stargaze is still ahead of us in terms of, I don't know what their mint volume is, but in terms of their aftermarket volume, they're over 5 million. And last I checked, we were right around 5 million.
Right. But you know what? Stargaze has that like buy and flip community where like a $5 NFT gets bought and sold a handful of times in the first couple of days or weeks. So comparing just Strange Clan as a single project, you're 10 to 20 times bigger than the next biggest project, most likely.
100%. In terms of an individual project, Strange Clan is huge. Like,
enormous.
It cannot quite be overstated quite how unique the Strange Clan collection is. Something like Bad Kids is similar, right? They are a large percentage of the Stargaze volume, but at the same time, you know, yeah, it's very different, a very different collection, very different purpose. So yeah.
Yeah, and because, like I said, you guys have that long time horizon, Strange Clan is not rolling out news every single day. You're not hyping up, you know, something coming next week necessarily, but I still see the PFPs quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we want to be. I mean, and we'll get back to that stage where we can roll stuff out more regularly, especially once we have the playable demo. And again, right now our target for that, we have to be able to present that in September. So there's a lot of things that we want to do, a lot of things that like, you know, we'd like to be doing more of. It's not that the short-term stuff isn't a priority. Even being able to implement more features in the marketplace that serves all the collections on Passage as the Passage ecosystem grows and there's more 3D assets on Passage, there's more different kinds of NFTs on Passage. So those things are important to us as well. But yeah, the ultimate goal is we would sacrifice a lot of short-term sentiment, a lot of short-term interest to ensure that we can deliver on the complete game, right? That's always been the long-term, it's always been the primary goal is that long-term, right? Being able to deliver this experience, not just like, well, we did this. It's like, yeah, but you said this, right? So many people, they tack on Metaverse to their roadmap as if it's like, you know, just extra candy, right?
It's one step.
Like, right. And they're like, oh, we're going to build a Metaverse, right? And it's like, okay, cool. What does that look like? And they're like, I don't know. Let's go talk to some Metaverse builders, right? And then they go talk to, seriously, this is the painful process we've been through, coming at it from both the game side and from the, the virtual Metaverse side. We've had teams approach us and be like, hey, how can we build a Metaverse on Passage, right? And you can see from the results, you know, there's some teams that have been more serious and have had various things they've had to deal with where it didn't end up working out, right? But the only team that really followed through was the Chihuahua community, right? Yes. And they did a huge funding proposal, and you know, through various events, the proposal itself, the tokens, lost a significant amount of value because inflation was really high. Whatever lessons we're all learning in Cosmos, right? But they really put their money where their mouth was and put together a whole team to kind of organize the Chihuahua Metaverse, right? And so that was really important to them. I have tons of teams approach us, and not only do they not really know how to build this stuff, I'm like, cool, do you have any 3D people on your team? Like, no. Do you have any 3D assets? No. What kind of budget do you have? Well, we're going to launch a collection to raise the money for that. And I'm like, didn't you already launch a collection? And it's like, yeah, we're going to launch another one, and that funding is going to go towards the Metaverse we promised for the first one. And I'm like, oh man, it's turtles all the way down, right?
I know, but that was the prevailing strategy during the bull market on other chains, right? Cosmos didn't have NFTs during the bull market, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And that is
Stargaze launched like the day of the Terra crash almost. Like it was a disaster.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually funny to think about. So we launched in October, and then I think Stargaze launched in April of 2022, and then it was May that the Terra crash happened. I believe it was April. So the timeline's really tight. And we actually closed the first part of our private sale for the Passage token right after the Terra crash, and surprisingly, we did really well on that. The timing was just nothing short of a miracle. But yeah, wild times for sure since then.
It really, like, Stargaze just took it in stride, but had they launched like 6 months earlier, it would have been probably like fireworks, like every day on Stargaze. Like, Atom was like $40,
right? Oh yeah,
Stars was almost $1. Stars was almost $1. It was like 80 cents.
Yeah, when we did the first Strange Clan sale, right afterwards, I think it was maybe November. So we did the launch in October. I think November is when Atom hit $40. So it was like peak insanity right around that time. It was definitely unique, that's for sure. We'll have another moment, right? We will.
Yeah.
But the problem is, in between those moments, there's so much like quiet, right? And it's like, hey, who's still here, right? Take a look around, see who's here now, right? And
absolutely.
Those are your buddies.
And as far as runway, do you guys feel like you guys are in good shape? I know with these NFT based roadmaps, a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
times it's hit or miss, right? Or
Dude,
just
we've told the
unrealistic
community-
expectations.
100%. We've told our community when we've been like tightening up, tightening our belt, tightening our budget, when we've gone lean. They've seen people come and go from the team. We scaled up too quickly, and we're super transparent about the community. They saw one of our favorite people was one of our community managers, V, who was helping with a lot of the social work, a lot of community management, and everyone like V said goodbye to the community in Discord, right? And he's off killing it now. He's working with a bunch of crazy content creators. So we make friends and we don't ever we hold tight, right? And so that's true with the community. It's true with our team. We're a team of friends of like a family. And so for us, we want to be smart. We want to be very future oriented. And that means planning ahead, right? So we've just been transparent with the community when it's like, hey, yeah, we are tightening down. We're trying to be smart about this. We are sidelining these features to focus on these features, because if this gets done, that creates new opportunities for revenue for the project. One of the things that we've kind of touted, and this is really underplayed now, but we've touted this as a benefit of our team from the beginning, is that from the outset, at the very beginning, we were totally independently funded, right? We were building Passage while we were doing service work for other brands. So we worked with Capitol Records, with Amazon, with Warner Brothers, with the Dallas Cowboys, doing virtual production. And that's what led us to create Passage. And then we built different Passage worlds for Capitol Records and for Amazon, for American Girl, Scooter Braun, who was managing Justin Bieber. And so, that was what led to wanting to make this a product that anyone can use, not just these brands who can drop $200K, right, per event. And that's what we were charging at the time, anywhere from $100 to $200K for these experiences. So we've always been a very premium studio, always built, kind of high-end experiences, high-end products. And so that team has always existed. And basically they've been serving the Passage teams. We kind of built this team to manage the product. But some people who are kind of OGs in the chat will know that there's a 3-division team, right? And that's the studio arm, right? And so they've helped with a lot of the production work, doing promos, doing marketing, things like that for Passage. But we also have other clients that team has been working with. So we have always kind of had ways to be independent, right? Ways to not be totally reliant on community funding, right? And we want, to be able to build this with the community, for it to be interactive, for people to get involved by purchasing NFTs and things like that. I see Stefan says he has a few Strange Clan NFTs. That's a wild understatement, which is why that's hysterical, if anybody knows Stefan. Yeah, basically, we're a really sustainable team, right? We have been scrappy for a long time, and we've been building this on our own steam for years before we ever took a dollar of community funds. And we're basically ready. If we burnt through every penny that we had, which people who know about what we've done with Strange Clan and with Passage, we have a really good foundation. But even if we burnt through every penny that we had, we still have the ability to keep going, right? We still have the ability to keep building. We're never going to stop building Passage, never going to stop building Strange Clan, which is one of the reasons we've been scrappy and impervious to some of the bear market difficulties. Even though, yeah, we're going to get hit the same way anybody else is, because we're trying to be mindful and scale for the long term. We also have the ability to be flexible too.
Maria, what do you think? One day we'll be doing our little show out of Passage.
Heck yeah.
So
That will be amazing.
yeah, no, it's definitely possible. What would it look like, Lex? Because you kind of see what we're trying to do, right? We have Twitter Spaces and YouTube going on at the same time. I don't know anyone else that's doing that, and I realize it's really hard. I have 3 devices.
Yep. Yeah.
How is Passage gonna make our show enhance the production, but also the interaction?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in the short term, it's just a better alternative, right? So the beauty is what you would do in the short term. Actually, we'll work with you, and we'll get you on the same track as CryptoCito. We'll get you guys in on the premium track for creators. But the idea is initially you could stream to Twitter, you wouldn't necessarily do a Twitter space. You could still do that. But what I would say is the beauty of it is you could drop a link on Twitter, right? You could drop a link on Twitter. You could stream to Twitter, have a link in the comments, and people can watch what's happening in Passage or just click the link and be in with you, right? Now, that said, you could limit the people who are inside Passage to members only. You can sell an exclusive happy hour NFT, right? The NFT happy hour NFT. And then people could buy that to get access to the Passage stream, right? And they can get in, and those people get priority for asking questions because they're right in front of the stage, right? And then people who are listening in from Twitter Spaces can just listen or watch it through YouTube, whatever. So that's going to be possible very, very soon. In the future, the beauty of it is all that you would do. So we're working it so that you can go in your account settings as a creator, connect your Twitter, connect your YouTube, and then when you hit publish for your world and you go live, it just goes live everywhere, and that's just how it works. Because for us, Passage isn't initially going to be a place of discovery. You're not going to come here to find tons of new creators at first because it'll be small, right? But creators who have their own audience, it can be a gathering point for that creator. Instead of trying to talk to people on Discord, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, I say Facebook. Facebook's irrelevant. TikTok, YouTube, right? You just go into Passage. And it ends up on all those platforms, but you can create from one place. And the beauty of Passage is it really is a place, right? It's not another page that's flat and one-dimensional. It's a place. And you're publishing from this place because you're actually there. And so when other people go to your place, your Passage, they can see you and you can have interactions. You can have a much more live experience. So it kind of combines the best of those different worlds.
Sounds good. I mean,
Absolutely.
She and I have talked so many times, and we'll try anything, especially to push the limit of like just getting that engagement. We want to bond with the audience, not talk to them, and then they can't interact.
Exactly.
So that's the reason why we do the space, because traditionally, up until the last couple of months, space has been a good platform for interaction. It's basically, it's a pop-up podcast with the audience can get on the stage with the podcaster. And I think that's like, if Twitter can monetize that, like hopefully they can, that would be a huge, huge win for Twitter, but also
they need to fix it first, because
it doesn't work good.
Lately
it does not work good. Yep. It doesn't work good. I want to show people the NFTs. So
guys.
Town 1, Town 2, is it the same collection? You just released it in sets, or is there
basically there's some exclusives for each collection. I don't remember exactly what they are. Also, like the bull, there was a bull character who's only in Town 2. Okay. I forget which ones are only in Town 1, but there are certain animal types that are only in one town or the other. The blue jay is a bird who's only in Town 2, things like that. So there's some cool, but in terms of utility, there's very little difference in the utility. The primary difference is just like people who are in Town 1 are going to get access earlier to the game. And then there's some other things around the token launch, but that's it.
Got it. And then let's look at the eggs. Oh my God. Anytime there's eggs, I feel like that's like...
And these eggs are beautiful. Just the fact that like our creative director, Nick Operator, is just incredible.
Maria, if you put out Women from Cosmos eggs, people would sell your...
Might be some weird implications there, but I'm down for it.
People would sell your Genesis NFTs to buy the eggs. I'm telling you, it's... for some reason, eggs in Metaverse land were the way to go in like 2021.
They're full of potential. Anything could be in an egg, right?
It's the anything
box. What's in a wonder ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to think, about it, like how I'm going to present the eggs coming from the woman. I don't know.
It's going to have to be a little different, I think.
Yep.
It's going to have to be a little different. Or you just like mint like silhouettes of your ladies and no one knows what they look like. And then that will sell even better than your Genesis NFTs.
Yeah.
But we could use them.
We
could use them as gated access for our Passage world. Or I would just use the Rockabellas. I think those are the best ones.
You're saying that because you haven't seen the ones I'm creating now, yo.
No, that's
Just
true.
telling
That's
you.
true. But I feel like I would always complain in Cosmos Coffee House, why don't we have NFTs like this? And she's like, I'm making that now. I'm like, all right, I'll wait for that. Why don't we have NFTs? What, like,
Because he's all the time reading my mind. I'm like, yo, wait, please. I'm doing it already, but I haven't said anything yet. And you're ruining the surprise, you know?
There you go.
I have a lot of good ideas, except someone's already working on them. That's all. That's all. But I don't know. I think this was cool. I love doing the periodic Cosmos focused spaces, not necessarily Stargaze, but something like this, man. The people that are left in the bear market, I feel like those are the people that are going to be telling all the newcomers where to look first, what discords to join, what projects to look at on the marketplaces, because a lot of our audience are very active in other Twitter spaces, and they're the next content creators, right? They're the ones that are going to have the TLDRs for people or hopefully launch their own channels. So people that are here now are collecting all this alpha, and then we'll be
And
the
then
goat.
educate. Go and
It's true.
educate, guys.
It's true. It's true. And I appreciate everybody that's here. Every week we always have a live chat, and it's just full of action, and also stuff that we don't know about gets dropped in the chat that we could take credit for because it's on our show.
I love it.
But Lex, thanks so much. I'll probably bother you at some point, next week.
Please.
About joining the NFT, because we are still planning NFT Nashville. We have the venues locked in. We have some speakers. We've got some ideas. Shrut was here before for interactive, fun compliments to the day of the lineup of speakers and panels. And of course, we're going to add as many bells and whistles as we can. Would love to add some type of passage feature. I'll bother Lex next week for sure.
Heck yeah. No, never a bother. For us, again, like I said, the priority is creators, right? The priority for us is being able to connect more people to their audiences better. Yeah, dude, totally ready. Let's figure out a way to do this.
And we'll get Maria to do some 3D ladies for
Yes.
for passage.
Yeah, we need Women of Cosmos 3D
I mean,
edition.
it's what I
Passage
was
avatars.
saying. When I was younger, I was a pro at Sims, so I'm a pro
Yes.
building, okay? I'm ready for it.
You and Abby would get along. Abby's definitely a pro Sims creator.
All right. Well, thank you again, Lex. Maria, thank you as always, accommodating my time zone and the chat as well. Always love the audience participating, and we'll be at it next week. We actually have Kusama Polka Dot projects coming on next week, and then I think we're going to revisit Stargaze the week or two after that. So more Cosmos stuff coming, of course. So
Awesome. Go team, go.